So I'm going to give you a quick update on what has happened in Egypt. This is absolutely crazy. Basically, you had a terrible dictator in charge of Egypt. The people hated him. He was in charge for 30 years, extraordinarily corrupt, stealing from the people, abusing the people's trust. The United States was his ally. The United States sent billions and billions of dollars of aid to Egypt. A lot of it ended up in the pockets of corrupt dictators and people who worked for this dictator. So hardworking American taxpayers work roughly a third of their waking hours to pay taxes that get sent to Egypt that end up in the hands of a greedy dictator or his close advisors. Ridiculous. It gets worse. In Egypt, there was a revolution a couple of years ago in Tahrir Square and so on. You know about it. They got rid of this guy, Mubarak. They got rid of the dictator. Now, the United States had already agreed to billions and billions in aid. They already agreed to give F-15 fighter jets to Egypt. A new guy was put in power, Morsi. Morsi turned out to be, in many ways, just as bad as Mubarak. There was a constitution. He decided, oh, I'm not going to follow parts of the constitution. I'm going to do whatever I want. And he was very close with the Muslim Brotherhood, which is actually overblown and taken out of context. It's kind of more complex than that. You know, it sounds scary because of the name Muslim Brotherhood and his association. But basically, what was really bad about him, and the bottom line is, he wasn't following the Constitution for his own people. So the United States said, well, we agreed to give these jets to Mubarak, who was overthrown and kicked out of power. Now Morsi's in power. Well, let's go ahead and give him the jets anyway. We don't even know how it's going to turn out. Morsi gets kicked out. What does the United States do? They don't even know who's going to be the new guy in power. They don't even know what's going to happen. And they say, oh, well, let's still give him the jets. So they still give him the jets, one of the most unstable countries in the world, jets that we paid for. We have no idea what they're going to be used. We don't know who's going to be in charge of them. And we're giving them jets paid for by taxpayers working a third of their life to pay the debt that we borrow money from China to give to Egypt. That's U.S. foreign policy for you. That's just one example. There's hundreds more just like it. Absolutely nuts.